even if I have emotional intelligence certification, even if I've been coaching and training leaders, I have been emotional once in a while. I find myself being emotional, but the way I handle it today is different than the way I handled it 10 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm growing on a daily basis. People may be wondering and asking, is Sylvia also emotional? Have you ever found yourself emotionally charged? If that happened, ever happened, how did it go?
Yeah, so you know, one of the things as you were talking, I was thinking about the fact that anyone who says that they're not emotional is not being authentic, right? Because we're not robots. We are human beings with feelings, right? It is what we're doing with those emotions that makes the difference, right? I don't think it's glamorous for someone to say, I never get angry, because anger is a productive emotion even, right? It's just, what am I doing with the anger? Am I using it to be destructive or to identify what needs to change in a situation, in my life, whatever the case? And when you ask about whether I've been emotional, absolutely. And like you, through the years, I have used my own tools to help me engage my emotions wisely, right? And so when I think back to a time when I was completely out of control, and it's a story I tell in my book, so I won't give too much of the whole story away, but I allowed my anger to boil to the surface, so much so when I used to wait tables at a restaurant about 22 years ago. And it resulted in me throwing chairs like through the restaurant. I didn't care if I was going to break glass, and all, like I just was acting like an animal because I allowed the general manager to really get under my skin. And of course, you know, 20 something years later, that's not the same way I would behave when angry. I would address the issue in a more civil way, using tools, right, to just engage my emotions, use my emotions to work for me and not against me. So yeah, I mean, I am human, and so I think for as long as we exist in a world with other human beings, we're all going to get emotional because we trigger each other, you know, and we create situations that are triggering for others. But the key really is, what are we doing in those trigger moments that allows us to still bring a better version of ourselves to that testy, challenging moment?
I completely agree with you. One of the misunderstandings about emotional intelligence is that people think that if they become mastery of emotional intelligence, they may not have any emotions. They think that emotional intelligence means muting your emotions or numbing yourself. That's the opposite of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is, you are emotional, but you are intelligent to express your emotions. Once in a while, as a human being, you're not a robot, you're not AI, you stumble here and there. When that happens, the key thing is how you clean it up. How do you recover from it? How you manage that quickly? Sometimes some emotions may take us down the drain and it may take us days, but the more we develop our emotional intelligence, we could be able to handle that kind of setbacks maybe within an hour, within minutes, within even seconds. That's the goal that we have. We may not achieve that level of mastery to deal emotions, especially unproductive emotions, right away, but at least we have to strive to get there. And I'm glad that we are on the same page on this one.